Well, well, well. Welcome to the second part of the What If Deku Had Boogie Woogie series. I am woken up a little bit more. Sorry about the first part. My voice was a little bit cooked in that. It'll be a lot better in this one, I promise you. Yeah, let's get straight into it, eh? Class continues as normal until the USJ is announced. Deku isn't too impressed by this, not being the rescue type, but Kirishima is hype, lifting Deku's spirit a little. They would make their way to the bus after getting their slips filled in and make their way off to the USJ. The regular talk about quirks comes up and they still say Todoroki and Bakugo have the best quirks, but Deku's is interesting. Froppy asks what he can do. Deku would put a finger over his mouth and say, "There's still many secrets of my boogie woogie you people don't know yet. You will only know when me and my brother are top heroes of the world." Looking at Kirishima, who face palms. The bus stops and they get off. Deku stretches a little before walking inside, seeing Pro Hero 13 standing there. Thought their hero costume was weird, so he didn't listen to their lame ass speech, looking around instead. When the warp villain would enter, Deku would notice, tapping Kirishima on the shoulder and pointing at them. Kirishima would get hyped, say aloud, "Whoa, cool! There are fake villains here too?" The class would look as Aizawa puts on his goggles, telling them to stay back. Deku would do the complete opposite, jumping down to help Aizawa. Aizawa looks at Deku and tells him to go back up with the rest of the class, and that he isn't strong enough to handle this yet. Deku smirks and looks at Aizawa dead. My boogie woogie can only flourish when we are fighting with someone else. The brothership that is between two is what maximizes my power. Aizawa rolls his eyes and stares back with a confused look, shaking his head. Deku quickly proving his use, he would stay back and tell Aizawa just to swing, and, and that he'll take care of the rest. Aizawa, trusting him, would go into battle, guns blazing, which actually works when assisted with Boogie Woogie. Deku, looking at the battlefield, would see three figures on the far end who looked dangerous: a warp guy, a man with hands all over him, and a big bird thing. Deku would watch as the warp villain would disappear, teleporting back to the top of the USJ. Deku, tracking this, would yell for Aizawa to hold off for a minute, telling him to cancel the quirk of the warp villain above. He would do so, and Deku would switch places with a coin that he gave Kirishima before entering. Clapping again, he would switch the warp villain Kirishima's locations, sending a kick to the main metallic body, slightly cracking it, but it wasn't enough. Them getting surrounded by mist. Deku looked around before looking at Kirishima, smiling, holding a hand out. They would all be warped into separate spots in the USJ, except Kirishima, 13, and Ida. Ida would immediately run outside and Kirishima would protect him until he could get out. Once he was out, he started looking around the USJ, looking for Deku. Deku would open his eyes, noticing his plummeting. He looks around and claps before landing on a boat. Froppy's tongue whizzes past a plastic chair that was once on the boat and lands safely with Mineta. They plot their escape, but before they can, Deku notices Kirishima running down the stairs to help Aizawa out. He is flattered at the act of heroics by his brother, looking on proud as a tear rolls down his cheek. He would get serious, looking back at Fropping and Mineta. He would throw a marble to the outskirts of the water zone. Waiting for it to bounce, he would then clap, dropping two more marbles before striking a pose and clapping twice more. They both look around, disoriented before looking forward to Aizawa. Aizawa was currently being held down by the Nomu, about to be crushed. "Kill him, Nomu," Shigaraki would say before hearing a clap echoing from the distance. Aizawa being replaced by a rock. Shigaraki looks up and starts maniacally scratching his neck like a crackhead. Deku looks back with a weird look before looking at a tired Kirishima. Deku tells him he did good and that it was a good time for such a long run. He then looks over at him and asks, "Are you ready?" Kirishima would nod and close his eyes before taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out, hardening himself. Pause. They both run in, Deku clapping and switching the two of their positions constantly. Shigaraki looks at them both before putting a hand out. "Nomu, kill those brats. Then, finish off the hero." Deku screams, "Are you ready, brother?" Kirishima replying, "Yeah." Deku claps once more and they move in. Kirishima pushing his hardening to the max, almost reaching unbreakable levels. Deku weaves in Nomu's first punch and hits him into the gut, not doing a single thing. His face goes blank as the Nomu sends a right at Deku, which he barely blocks. Deku is sent flying. Shigaraki jumps behind Deku, holding his hand out, waiting to catch him and kill him. Deku looks back and then back at Kirishima, who was about to be hit by the Nomu. Closing his eyes, he sees the scene again, all three of them sitting on a beach. So, what's your plan this time, Deku? You think you can win? That guy's super strong, and this Hands guy gotta be strong if he bosses him around. Deku thinks again, thinking about his brother, and how he doesn't think Kirishima can take many Nomu hits, definitely not being able to react in time to block. He does the one thing he can do. He continues flying back, sending a fist back at Shigaraki, grabbing his wrist and throwing him into the air. Shigaraki almost can't react, but reaches down, grazing Deku's left hand just for a second. Deku claps and swaps Kirishima and Shigaraki. He looks up and catches Kirishima before booking it out of there. Shigaraki, about to follow them, hears a familiar voice. I am here. As a gust of wind surrounds the USJ, All Might immediately aims for the Nomu, seeing what it almost did to Deku. Their battle begins. Deku and Kirishima would watch as the two brutes battle it out, Aizawa trying to help them out, but too tired. They make it a safe distance away, and send Froppy and Mineta to take Aizawa to safety. Deku and Kirishima sit and watch a first-hand All Might fight. They were amazed. He had more power than he could imagine. A large gust of wind follows every blow that he throws, a dust cloud settling. As the dust settles, All Might is seen in an awkward spot, being pinned by his weak spot by the Nomu. Kirishima, without thinking, runs to help, going unbreakable and jumping in to save All Might. Deku sees this and screams, seeing Shigaraki's hand come out of a portal next to Kirishima's head. Deku claps and blocks the attack for Kirishima, getting his hand touched and decayed. He quickly wraps his hand in a t-shirt. Looking down at his hand, Shigaraki laughs, mocking him. Oops, sorry, was that important? He would say. Deku looked up at him, and before he could do anything, All Might breaks free. The battle continues, and All Might comes out on top. Shigaraki sees this and dips. So, pretty much the same stuff happens as in canon, but Aizawa is less hurt, and All Might is probably about the same amount hurt, but he hasn't given away one for all yet, so the fight was a little bit quicker. Deku also loses a hand, which kind of sucks. He is rushed to the hospital. Kirishima by his side as he is knocked out. A day passes and Deku is sitting at the hospital bed, staring at his hand, feeling that his Boogie Woogie is dead. He sheds a tear as Kirishima comes through the door. He spoke softly. Thank you, my brother. I have some news to share with you. You gotta promise to keep it a secret though. A deflated All Might walks through the door and they sit to explain one for all to them. Due to Kirishima, due to his move, thinking before attitude. What the fuck? Anyway, Kirishima gets one for all in this timeline. Deku being confused about the prospect, but respecting it, saying he will always be there to help him out.